whether it's NFTs like PFPs or meme coins, those are pretty done. It's not like completely dead. There's always still some enthusiasts, like our users who are in those communities that still find it really fun. Fundamentally, I find it like pretty hard to believe that they will come back in the original form. What we actually need is like new forms and new forms of innovation.
This material is for informational purposes only and is not intended to provide accounting, legal, or tax advice, or investment recommendations, or an official statement of Presto or its affiliates.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Presto Research Podcast. I think we are somewhere around episode 30-something, but as always, I'm joined by my colleague, Thomas. And today we have another very special guest here, Jack, the CEO and the co-founder of Magic Eden. Jake, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very well, thanks. GM. I'm excited to chat. Nice to meet you, Min and Thomas.
Yep. So I guess as usual, let's start with your story. How did you first get into crypto and what ultimately inspired you to build Magic Eden?
Yeah, absolutely. So most people know Magic Eden as an NFT marketplace, but we built a bunch of products evolving beyond NFTs. Wallet, a bunch of entertainment products, and we've got like a new brand coming online. So that's kind of relevant a little bit of to like the arc and like the historical context as well. So yeah, for me, like being crypto for a long time, started buying like ICOs 2016, 2017, was looking at ETH 2015. And then for a long time, I really wanted to like work full time in crypto. So around that period, I was like actually in the States working in big tech. So doing product management, but also just being really bored generally with my day job. And I remember actually it was like around 2017, that's when Binance started. I was thinking, oh man, maybe I should join Binance. This thing's like really blowing up. But then a couple of things happened. One, I thought, it felt like most of the people in crypto, like who had like really big success, they seem to come from like finance or trading background, right? So they built then exchanges, trading shops, DeFi protocols, and they had like a ton of success. But that wasn't really me. Like I came from building like consumer internet products, like simple, those kind of those products. So I felt like, damn, I don't really have an edge, like trying to jump into this space. I feel like I'm going to get eaten alive. Maybe I should just buy coins, get my exposure that way, and I can participate in the industry that way. So that was around like 2017, that kind of period. Then fast forward a few more years, I'm like continuing to get pretty bored at my day job, but 2021 happens, and this is when like the NFT bull cycle happens, and like, amazing times, good old times, right? Like, I wish we were back there again. But yeah, that's when I saw like ETH NFTs that were selling, people were selling for like $69 million, cover of New York Times. And that's when I had this like lightning moment. I was also buying like Sol, pretty early as well. So I like kind of put two together. I said, actually NFTs is popping off on ETH. Like there's Sol is a pretty good early chain. Maybe we can do something on Sol. But more importantly, I felt like, NFTs, this is no longer about like hardcore finance anymore. This is actually about talking shit with your friends on the internet, like going to parties, having, this is gaming. This is like just having fun with your friends, right? It was that feeling. And that's when I felt like, actually, maybe this is actually the right moment for me to jump into crypto and actually build something here, because this is something I understand. Building like fun products, emotional products that make people feel like, crypto is no longer that complicated. It's not like a nerdy topic, but it's more about something that the average person can engage with. So that's when we, basically called my co-founders. We have 4 co-founders together, and we say, hey, something's pretty interesting happening in the NFT space on Sol. Let's go build something here. That's how Magic Eden started. And of course, then over the years, we like expanded to all of the chains, then built a wallet. Then we started building like entertainment, like pack grouping products, which have been pretty successful. And then recently we started wanting to expand into like sports betting and iGaming, that kind of space as well. So yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, but that's the story so far.
Sounds good. So for the people who might be hearing the Magic Eden for the first time, how would you describe it in simple ways?
Yeah. So our mission is to be the leader in crypto entertainment. That really means we're building like the funnest places to have fun and play with crypto. So there's a couple of versions, like a couple of big product lines for us. One, we have our core NFT marketplace. The core use case was really like trading of NFTs, but of course NFT trading has been pretty flat. But we've started building a bunch of use cases on top of NFTs. So you can like construct packs out of the inventory that's on our marketplace. So you can rip open packs. Now we have some new features launching where you can rip open multiple packs at the same time. We want to build more features like if you have collectibles, you can collateralize them to get like spending power on the platform to like with more packs, these kind of use cases. And secondly, we've branched off and we're going to build like a new brand called Dicey, which is all about like sports betting and iGaming and going into that space. But overall, it means, hey, we want to be the leader in crypto entertainment.
So I guess talking about Magic Eden, you guys are building different stuffs, but as a core, NFTs like one of the biggest thing for you guys. But you mentioned 2021, we saw this rise of NFTs, but as today, you don't really, right? So I was trying to ask at first, are NFTs dead, and are they going to come back, and what's needed for them to come back?
Yeah, it's a good question. We had a really good run in NFTs. We traded around 15, almost $20 billion for NFTs over like 4 years of the life of the company. Primarily it was around like PFPs, right? PFPs. And recently, once we started expanding it into like new product lines like pack opening, those have also been doing pretty well for us. I think in the first week of us doing the pack opening products, we did like around $15 million in opening packs. But overall, I think like to answer your question directly, I think like NFTs as like maybe it's more like attention assets in general. Like, so whether it's NFTs like PFPs or meme coins, I think those are they're pretty done. Like to say it in a direct word, it's not like completely dead in that it goes to zero. There's always still some enthusiasts like PAL users who are in those communities that still find it really fun. But fundamentally, I find it like pretty hard to believe that they will come back in the original form. What we actually need is like new forms and new forms of innovation. And ultimately, those kind of assets and those kind of use cases it was really like the entertainment aspect of it that really pulled people in, right? And made it like more people came and they started betting and speculating with it and made it like what it is. But I think that original format it's pretty flat. One of the biggest realizations for us, because we saw this with NFTs, but we also kind of saw this with meme coins. It really is like when the asset is just built on attention, it's like attention that gives, value and price to the asset. Ultimately, we realize that user behavior is not very durable because attention is not durable, right? And if you're basically just speculating on thin air, eventually there's like a ceiling to the number of people in the world who actually want to do those things. And once you hit that ceiling, then the kind of thing collapses like a house of cards. It becomes harder to revive again. That's why we're more like, we had the chance to effectively do a pivot to do something new. We said, hey, let's actually think about this from a clean slate. What other use cases do we want to build on and innovate on? Let's go find something that's more durable. The user behavior is durable. So that's where we landed on a lot of the entertainment use cases that we've been talking about, because those are tried and true. Those users are like, it's bull market, bear market proof. It doesn't really matter like what attention is in the space. There's always people who are interested, right, in those kind of use cases.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting to hear. So I'm kind of curious about your new vision, this leader in crypto entertainment. So right now it seems like the Magic Eden is centered around the traditional NFT marketplace, but your team, it has this new vision where you want to become the leader in crypto entertainment. How do you see this vision being executed?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think there's a couple of legs. One, I'll just focus on like Magic Eden core, right? So and that's the marketplace. The first thing is that we want to do a couple of things to make collecting and NFTs fun again. We talked extensively about pack opening, which is like a very global behavior, right? Whether it's around NFTs, whether it's around TCG like collectible trading card games like Pokemon, or whether it's like Labubu, like physical items. There's this like this aspect of having the thrill, right? Like opening something, this like really adventurous feeling. So we basically just started doing our first iterations of that use case, and there's more things we want to do there. So for example, you can do like player versus player, like pack opening battles, right? Or we can do something like you can take out loans against your items to open more packs. We want to add more mechanics like actually 0% edge. So right now, all of these cards, usually there is like a house edge built in. That's why it makes it like worth our while, right? To also create these products. But actually we think, hey, we can actually play around with this where the pack has 0 edge, and it feels like way more fun and way more equal and fair, right? In terms of the user. So those are the things we want to do. The second thing on the marketplace itself, so just on NFT marketplace itself, we're not fully forgetting about that at all. We still want to make some investments, but everything is more in the direction of making things fun and creating more metagames on top. So a few examples. One is a couple of days ago, we announced this buyback program for our token, but there's another aspect of that I think the community has really enjoyed, which is we're going to start using our fees at a collection level to buy back the NFT itself, and then it will hold it forever. So it's kind of like our version of the punk strategy, right? But it's more durable because it's supported by marketplace fees. And ultimately the idea is that, hey, like we will also generate demand for some of these assets so that it creates more like competition between the collections. And we have some more ideas there. The last one is on the core marketplace, we can like combine these two ideas together. So one of the ideas we want to talk about is we want to let users create their own packs to be open based on like the listings and based on the inventory that's on the marketplace itself. So it's like, you don't have to have every rare Pokemon card and figure out where to buy it. If it's listed on the marketplace, you can like highlight the right cards and construct your own pack. So this is the way to like basically combine the strengths that we have, but also with this like new fun user behavior that we see. So that's all on like, you know, the Magic Eden like marketplace side. And of course, we've announced this new brand called Dicey. And this is what we think is a really next generation like sports betting experience with also like slots involved. And we want to basically also innovate on that aspect. Some of the ideas there is also like anyone can be the house. So it doesn't feel like the user is playing against the house. The user is playing against other users. So those ideas we want to basically bring to that space as well.
Just a quick cue. Is there something different with Dicey with regular sports betting, or how does it kind of work?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that's really different about it. I think the two big themes for us is social dynamics, and the separate theme is like anyone can be the house. So maybe I'll like talk about the second one first. I think like historically when you go on a sports betting app or you go on like an iGaming app, there is always this like slightly adversarial relationship between the user and the platform. Because it's like when the user loses, the platform wins, right? Because it's like a house. Or when the user wins, the house loses, right? So it has this like a little bit of a zero-sum relationship. But what we want to do, like let's say on the sportsbook side, is we don't want to be the house. Instead, we want to aggregate all of the other venues. So we want to do partnerships with Kalshi, partnerships with prediction markets, partnerships with some of the other sportsbooks, and we will route the flow to the other venues. And this way, the user feels like, oh, if I'm winning, I'm actually winning against another user, right? That sits on Kalshi. Or if I'm losing against another user, but it doesn't feel like it's losing against us. So it feels like much more incentive aligned. Secondly, it's like the same idea can also be applied to the iGaming like slot side as well, which is, we're kind of inspired by this like hyperliquid, idea where you can create vaults. Then anyone can also become a house. We can also create like liquidity pools. So you're a player, you can earn rewards. And if you have a big win, you can then contribute some of your capital to become the house and also participate with the house, right? So all of those can have like some really beautiful like circular network effects. So those are the things we find really interesting. So that's more like on the fairness side. Then on the other side of this is like social dynamics. Especially in sports betting, it's very, very similar to crypto. Crypto, you have these like Telegram groups, Discord groups where, people are shilling like the latest trade, the latest coin. But in that dynamic, like you always feel like your exit liquidity, right? Like the KOL showing something and then like they're counter trading. But in sports, it's a little different because the odds it doesn't have to move like instantly, right? But there is this like tipster dynamic where there's someone who's offering tips. And what we really want to do is build a bunch of tools for KOLs and tipsters to share their sports picks, and those sports picks to be auto-populated, and there's revenue share for people to copy those bets. And that kind of flow is generally like very under-innovated, under-explored in the sportsbook side. So those are the dynamics that we want to really explore.
Got it. And I guess going back to somewhat NFT related, you mentioned a lot about those lucky buy and the packs, right? Buying the packs, and I actually seen a lot of KOLs kind of buying it, and someone posting like they picked the Mad Lads and stuff. So I guess you mentioned about crypto entertainment, and lots of crypto entertainment I guess not even a lot. I guess most of the crypto entertainment today is mostly about gambling, right? Whether it's meme coin or like even the lucky buy-in packs, it has a gambling element on it. So I was kind of curious to hear your thoughts on whether are we too much focusing on gambling? Is there something more there, or just want to hear your general thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's like a really fair one. So how I think about it is this, right? I think like entertainment is definitely the core use case that we want to bet into. No pun intended. And even like for packs and for Dicey, even though the way that manifests itself, whether it's like opening packs or sports betting, the the buttons and the UI looks different, but it really hits at the same like user motivation, which is people are looking for thrill, right? People are looking for fun. So we do want to like lean more into that. I think to the question of like, is it too much gambling? I'll probably say this is that like speculation is just like a very natural core behavior for the crypto community. It's effectively the kind of like it's almost like we are offering fries to people who already love hamburgers. It's like there's no use trying to hide it in a way, right? This is what a lot of the natural user behavior is in our community, and people are fine with that. People find it really fun. But the bigger vision and the bigger thing that we want to contribute to this with our ideas is how do we give more fairness? How do we give more fun? And how do we give more rewarding experiences back to the user? So it doesn't feel like scammy, right? It doesn't feel dirty. It feels like something that has a trusted feel to it. In that sense, I think it really almost like we are trying to be carry the same ethos of Magic Eden as well. Because when we first started NFTs, it also felt like Scam City, right? Like there was all these rugs everywhere, but over time we built a brand by do things right by the user. So there's a few elements to that. Like for example, the element of fairness. There's a few ideas I mentioned earlier, which is like for packs, how can we have like zero edge altogether? So that yes, there is a chance you are opening packs and there is an element of chance. Sometimes you can win and lose, but that is also the fun of it. But it doesn't feel like the house is being extractive towards you, right? This is the idea around fairness that we want to implant with the games that we have. Similar to the ideas that I mentioned for Dicey, is like anyone can be the house. Then it doesn't mean like, oh, when you lose, the player loses, the house is always winning. There is always a chance for the player to also be the house, right? As well. And it feels like the user is playing against the user in that aspect. And of course, like for fun, on the element of fun, I also mentioned a few ideas around that, which is like we can make the social dynamics more vibrant. We can make copy betting more vibrant, right? All of these aspects, I think, is how we can contribute into this like use case to make it more, just feel more, more trusted, right? More easier to engage with, right? But we're not trying to also, basically it's like, we are also not trying to be mid-curvy about it, which is, hey, like the community loves these kind of experiences and we're happy to offer them, but we want to offer them in the right way.
So among like a series of new features that are coming up, which one excites you most? What do you think is the biggest hit that's might happen to Magic Eden?
Yeah, it's such a good question. So like for packs, I'm like really excited by the roadmap ahead, right? The initial traction like actually surprised us a lot because we were thinking like it wouldn't be, there's already a bunch of other great products out there already, so we didn't think that we'll have that much traction. But the response was very was very overwhelming. So we wanted to do a lot more to fast follow. So there's a couple of things. We want to expand to other categories, right? So we want to certainly expand this to the Bitcoin community where we have like a huge and loud Bitcoin community want to engage with these kind of products. We want to make it more fun so that we can, for example, you can open multiple packs at the same time. And then we want to make it more rewarding as well so that the more that you play, you can earn rewards in real time so that you can come back and feel like this sticky behavior. So that's on the pack side. And then for Dicey, we have this, we're going to start offering the product to the ME community pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. I'm just generally very, very excited to get some new, like actual real users to come in and test out some of our products. I think we're probably going to go for a more wider release around early Q1, but everyone's basically shooting for this ME community release that's happening in a few weeks from now.
I guess switching gears a bit, today we kind of broke 90K level Everyone's going through hard times. At this kind of market, I was just kind of curious. You guys have your own token. So kind of curious your thoughts on how you guys are building somewhat sustainable like tokenomics ecosystem related to the token side.
Yeah, it's a good question. Damn, it broke through 90. That definitely hurts as well. When it was like very close to 100, I like bought some more actually, and I was like, dude, there's no way it's gonna break 100. What are we talking about? But anyway, it's okay. Yeah, look, I think the overall environment for alts in particular has been pretty challenging, but now it's like actually for majors as well, right? It's just like crypto at large. So there's a couple of thoughts I have. My thought is that I think for crypto and for alts specifically, and this is our philosophy at Magic Eden, I think the industry has moved towards like show not tell. Show not tell meaning like you have to have something to back it up, right? You have to have real products that have product market fit. You have to have users. You have to have revenue. And this is why like we were also thinking about like what are durable user behaviors that we can go after and build products towards that. Yeah, because there was like almost like a previous I don't know, like paradigm in crypto where it's more like tell not show, right? It's just like sell the story and launch the token and then you can kind of get away with it. But my feeling is like, yeah, it's just maybe it's like a lot more mature as an industry, which is a good thing, right? But it's also a lot more competitive. And really it's about show not tell, right? So that's for us is really what we are focused on, like, hey, build fundamentally strong products with a big market, with durable user behavior and that have like real economics to show for it. And then in that sense, a couple of days ago, we also announced we wanted to do ME buybacks from the NFT side. And this is also to signal to the market that, hey, we want value to accrue to our token for the new brands that we launch like Dicey. We want to do the same thing as well so that we basically have fundamentals backing our token. So that's more like some high level philosophy. Then in terms of like utility for the ME token, we certainly want this to power our entertainment like ecosystem or entertainment portfolio. And to me, it's like there's so many like very straightforward ways to add utility to this token. So like stake the token to earn reloads, rate backs, extra like progression, right? As we go, as users basically engage on Dicey or play on Magic Eden. All of those utilities can come and we can easily add those in the future as well.
So if you, let's say if you zoom out for like 5 years, time span, where do you see NFT marketplaces evolving to? And also, what's your general vision about it? What do we think the NFT marketplace is going to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There's a couple of things that maybe like the first thing I'll draw inspiration from is actually from the exchange space, like the fungible token space. Like originally the fungible token exchanges, this will be like 2013, 2014, like that kind of era. They were very thin, right? This will be like early Coinbase, right? Maybe even like Zappos, like that kind of era, right? And it was just about like spot token trading, right? But over time, you can see the Coinbases, Binances of the world, they became like monolithic, almost like brokerage platforms where you have like spot trading, perps, derivatives, loans, custody, tokenization, stablecoin, all of these things happen together. And I think for the NFT marketplaces, it's kind of be pretty similar. Like what we had and what OpenSea had, it was just like version 1. Right? It's just like very simple trading of assets back and forth. But what we are doing now for Magic Eden is like creating effectively like vertical experiences. So it's like we have this marketplace, we have this audience, we have entertainment use cases on top of it. We have our own Magic Eden wallet, which gives you like a mobile interface into entering this. And then you can like deposit money and deposit ME token and it gives you like all these special rewards in that. That is basically how I see the landscape evolving. And we are taking the bet towards entertainment, right? As our vertical, and some people may take some other like vertical experience, right? And that's okay. Like, kudos to them, but this is what we want to do. And this is how like I see this playing out.
Just a quick random cue. Do you think there could be somewhat institutional adoption on the NFT space as well? Or
yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that we certainly have to move past like these attention asset like use case. Like it's the same with meme coins, right? Like meme coins, NFTs, you can't really imagine like institutional adoption for like meme coins. So as long as this, basically, I kind of think like NFTs is an underlying technology. PFPs and like these collections, this was just like the first use case, and it was like a very primitive or rudimentary use case to showcase the technology. And like, yes, we can do something with it. Now there's more things we can do. We can tokenize Pokemon cards, create packs, make pack grouping experiences out of them, right? That's the things that we have to go towards. So I certainly can see that there will be institutional adoption, institutional support for the underlying technology, but probably for like just the attention asset, use case that, more like degens or like people in the crypto native community are kind of into. I think that's probably unlikely. We have to do something more, right? We have to do something more.
Got it. I guess before you wrap up, for anyone who's interested in learning more about Magic Eden, where should they go? Where should they find?
Absolutely. Yeah. Follow us on Twitter, or follow us on X, and also follow us on Dicey as well. And there's plenty of like new announcements coming, especially a bunch of new product launches coming in the next couple of weeks. And of course, if you've got any questions, you can follow me, 0xleo in Rio, and shoot me a DM, right? Always happy to chat.
Yep. I think that's pretty much it for today's podcast. Thank you, Jack, for joining us, and see you guys all next week.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, guys.